get things going. Maybe Crastial up against Envy.
They certainly could, and you and I talked about this before, Axeman, but I'm going to have to hold all that because we've got our, well, not our first Ivern, but yet another Ivern, our first Ivern of the day, certainly, and this is a champion that I'm very excited about seeing in the CBLOL. I'll say that I'm confused about having not seen more, but it's a great pick to start off the draft for Red.
Yeah, I'll echo that concern as well. What I will say is no one likes a lonely tree, right? I mean, I think having a second tree there, at least so it has a friend, is probably for the best. But in CBLOL, yeah, we would like to see more Iverns there as well. Aphelios is a good way to start out this draft for Kabum. I think a little bit of power for Raven is solid. And honestly, for Redbird, I think you can't get better than the Thresh here. I think Aphelios Thresh would be massive for this bottom lane and really give them the power they need. The playmaking potential there for Redbird would be incredible for them. Already, FMB on Kasanti. This is looking pretty good for Kabum. If this upsets my confidence predictions, I'm going to be really upset. So.
That's fair, that's fair. Jace going to be the pivot, leaving two flex picks now in the hands of Red. Envy and
like
FMB
this, right?
can both take really anything. Ivern can go anywhere because, in case you're watching at home and don't know this, Ivern is ridiculous on this patch.
He is ridiculous on this patch. Almost like anti-ridiculous is Jace, who has just been so bad in the CBLOL so far. Not really sure where the Ivern's going. I think this locks in Ivern jungle with the Olaf pick. So. Locks Envy onto that Dunkado killing Jace. Not because it kills Dunkado, but because Dunkado kills games on the Jace. Envy will be piloting that one, and Crastiel. Oh, with the I like the J4. I think the J4 would be fun. Honestly, I think perfect draft for me is we go Orianna for Crastiel, and then get Flawless on the J4 here, and then we pick up the Thresh. Next couple bans should be all on the bot lane, so Titan's gonna eat a bunch of bans here.
And unfortunately, I don't know how much that's really going to affect the game plan of Red. It seems to be largely, we are going to kill you no matter what Titan says. And if I'm looking into the past as well, Titan has had a remarkable ability to clutch up. There's plenty still to ban. Xayah absolutely still available and very powerful for Titan.
Yep, Xayah's still up there. Kai'Sa still available as well. Could go for either of those champions. I mean, I think Jinx, Zeri still pretty big too.
We could go Ivern support. That actually,
Ivern support.
I mean, they're banning away Yuumi, right? If you're banning supports, you might already have yours locked in. Zeri going to be taken out. I can only assume that this is a Xayah bot lane at this point, but as we continue to take away pieces right now, I think Red have something up their sleeves. I'm happy to be wrong, but I smell a fish?
Yeah.
I don't know what people say.
There we
A
go.
rat. I smell a rat.
A little bit of Ezreal mid here for Crastiel. I like this pickup. I think Ezreal Karma would have been way overpowered for Red there, seeing how their draft was lining up a little bit. So they're going to take that Ezreal away from them and leave them with the Xayah or Kai'Sa. Dealer's choice. Looks like Kai'Sa's going to be the pickup for them.
Not bad, especially if you want to all get aggressive at the same time. Since you've got the Olaf, we aren't going to be, well, actually, you know what? I still can't even say. I still can't even say, now that the Rel has been locked in, that we're certainly seeing Frosty on this pick. Although it is looking increasingly likely a Braum on the other side, a defensive choice for Kabum. Does give them a lot of oomph and a lot of frontline, but let's start to seriously evaluate. We've seen all 5 picks from each side. Yeso, I'm going to bring you back in just to start me off on the guessing game. Where do you think Ivern's going?
Oh, man. Guess what? I've got the answer for you. It's going into the jungle. Aegis is going to get it. I got the cheat codes for you there, unfortunately. I love the fact that we get the Kai'Sa Rel from Red. Of course, Kai'Sa very good with tank laners, with tank supports that can bring that hard CC. Of course, Kai'Sa Nautilus is that classic combo. Should be fun. And, you know, hey, look, Raven with the opportunity to put on the carry pants here. The Aphelios paired up with the Braum mid and late game can be a powerhouse for this team. It certainly has the front line to hopefully give him the opportunity to do so in team fights.
Axeman, I've seen this Ezreal mid before. give me the copium that I need to believe in this Ezreal mid again.
The only thing, Dia, that is worse in the mid lane than Ezreal mid is Jace mid. So
okay!
He's got at least something. Like it was a race to the bottom of the mid lane here, and they got there, man. They got there in record time, and we're going to have to watch what happens now between this Ezreal and this Jace. Oh, man. Yeah, I think Krusty always needed a wild card. I think this will help him stay safe throughout the throughout the early mid game, excuse me, with the Arcane Shift. They're not going to be able to bully Ezreal, bully Crastiel as much as they could other mid laners, right? So I think that is going to help them through that point. And I think we've also seen good teams try to use that as a strategy, try to bully the mid laner out of the game in the early game, so that they don't get to that high damage position. So through that lens, I think this is a good pickup for Crastiel. Through almost every other lens, this is very bad.
Yeah. That's honestly what the draft of Kabum is feeling like right now. Thank God they have the Aphelios for a late game insurance policy. But let us not forget, Axeman, that this is a very difficult matchup. Yeso, we are on to the Rift. Do you have any last words for us here?
I just want you gentlemen to have some fun. Very interesting champion select between these two teams. We're seeing the Ivern come out again. I'm a big fan of Kai'Sa being in the meta. We're going to get a good look at it here between Red Canids and Kabum.
Oh my God. I'm actually so anxious for how this game is going to go, because Kabum, I hesitate to even say that they need this game. At this point, it's just a matter of trying your best to find something that works as a team, and it's very surprising that the Ezreal has been something that we're now seeing Kabum return to, with Red casually walking into this matchup on the front foot. I'm very excited to see what Titan is going to do on Kai'Sa. I'm just over the moon.
Yeah, I can't wait, right? One thing I will say I'm a little disappointed in is that there was a world here where we got FMB on Olaf, and then we got an Ivern, some kind of like Annie maybe, Ezreal and Karma lined up here for Red, and we actually got like just the biggest FMB Olaf game of all time. I still think it's going to be big. He's got a lot of shields coming through from Ivern. He's got some good support staff. Got a lot of like flankers. Got a lot of range damage that can bring to the table. It's a good comp from Red, but it's just not an FMB focused comp where everybody's feeding into the FMB on the Olaf. So not quite where I wanted it to be.
And I'll tell you what, as this game gets later on, we will have the opportunity to see how Kabum operate with sustained damage, because when you do have an Aphelios, it's going to feel pretty darn good. The early game, however, solidly going to be in Kai'Sa's hands, as Red get the opportunity with Frosty throwing out a quick engage to lay down some damage onto Redbird. Meanwhile, the jungle pathing is going to be thrown all out of whack because Aegis is on Ivern and jungle camps have lost their meaning.
Yep, there is no meaning to jungle camps anymore, and there's not that much meaning to jungle in general because they got the J4 on here. We don't have very much tape on J4 this split. Historically, lots of tape though, and I was there for those games, Dia, so we're doing okay. He's got plenty of lockdown with the flag and drag, flawless. Might not have the mechanics for a flash into that combo. We'll have to see. But post level 6, the ultimate gets pretty fun.
You know what's weird is that Kabum have actually given us the majority of J4 games that we've seen this, but they started the split with the J4. Whipping out, you remember the Jarvan Galio game for their first day of CBLOL. Now walking the mid lane, Aegis throws out a gank on Crastiel, and he should be dead underneath the tower. One more auto from Envy would do it, but no! Crastiel denies the kill and takes first blood himself.
There's nothing like, when you're at casters, there's nothing quite like saying something and then like speaking it into existence. You draft the Ezreal for the safety, and that's exactly what Crastiel brings to the table with this pick, right? He's able to escape not just this situation, but also get the kill on the back end onto him. He gets first blood, and he's well on his way off to the races with the Ezreal. There's still plenty for Crastiel to accomplish, but at least he's done this one thing. That's got to feel good.
Red, no, that shouldn't have happened as well. Envy has to burn the teleport to get all the way back to mid lane. Crastiel matches, but with that little bit of extra gold, has so much more sustain and extra damage to lay down now as well. It is just a small advantage for Kabum, and one that they'll have to find a way to actually make work for them as we approach the neutral objective. Dragon spawning in just under 60 seconds.
I don't think anything exemplifies CBLOL diff more than the top team in the league giving up first blood to the bottom team in the league. That's only here, man. Can only happen here. That's so much fun that we had this competitive of a league. Aegis up top looking for the guy. He's going to walk over Vision, and there's no opportunity for him there. Into Lonely. Jungle pathing, like you said, it just doesn't matter with Ivern. He's all over the place. Jungle camps aren't real.
He's doing his own thing. Having a blast, probably, as he just waltzes through the jungle. It does mean that he gets to focus a little bit more on other parts of the game, like we pointed out already, looking for these active ganks and hopefully playing the vision game a little bit later on, since most of the aggressive vision that we have in the river has been placed by Kabum. There's not a whole lot of forward vision for Red right now.
Not quite. Not quite that much vision. Aegis still sticking up top. I don't think they dive the Renekton here. You don't need to give up second and third blood to Kabum.
Thinking about it. FNB certainly thinking about it. With Envy on the way, it looks like Lonely should at least be pressured off of a wave. Shield's gonna go down. Man. FNB is tanking tower, and the man's got a flash away from underneath it. Red, I suppose, desperately trying to crash this wave to try the dive again. Level 6 on FNB at the moment. Nobody else has the levels to do this. Lonely going to pop the Dominus as he levels up just in time. The man is out playing a 1v3.
No
he
way,
gets
man.
the kill. Kabum are cracked.
Don't show me the numbers. I don't care about the spreadsheets. Lonely's the best top laner in CBLOL. Let's go, baby. That's the play we needed. The Dragon gonna go down for Flawless on the end, the other end of Summoner's Rift here as well. I was saying it going into that play, that's a big waste of time. That's a big croc. I mean, he dodges the Shock Blast at the top of this fight as well. It doesn't get much better for Lonely than that, getting that kill.
Oh, that is so rough, though, to look on through the eyes of a Red fan and see the first two plays having gone wrong. I don't think that you're afraid just yet, but Kabum fans certainly have something to look forward to, because this mid-game is promising to be explosive with the small amount of gold that they've now been given, the extra power that the solo lanes have. I have no idea what this will turn into, and I don't think Red does either, X-Man.
No, I don't think they do. And I don't think anybody in the world knows what's going to happen next. I mean, Kabum, who are fully defeated in the CBLOL, are up about 2,000 gold on Red right now, the top team in the league. And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, and no one does.
We'll be finding out pretty darn soon. Stack Shiv already purchased for Crastiel, so wave clear is going to be solidly in the favor of Ezreal. That's what the initial economic advantage is turning into. We'll see how much more. First Dragon did, however, go over to Kabum for all of the time that Red spent trying to dive the top lane.
Not just that either, Red. A 20 CS lead is built up for Crastiel now as he's shoving these waves, and he's left the lane now. It's going to catch up a little bit for the Jace, but you still got to bring it up, right? That's an incredible advantage.
I think my man has left the lane for a blue buff as well, so that
nice.
mid pressure isn't going anywhere anytime soon. The priority solidly in the favor of Kabum, but now Red are trying to disengage. No purple for Raven, but the flash forward with the chakrams takes down Titan, and Kabum look to dive now with just a little bit of damage left on Frosty.
Oh, there's no way.
Oh!
No! Come on. If he hadn't chugged that pot, he'd be dead right now.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. That would have been another kill for Crastiel. Dia, Titan had the most gold in the game for Red, right? It wasn't a lot of gold, right? He was already pretty far behind the rest of Kabum, but after that death, What does Red have? What do they bring to the table? They have nothing. They're down 2,000 gold. They're going to continue being put down as well as Kabum are holding on to their advantages.
I feel like I'm watching, it's like really early in Naruto, and I'll be honest, I never finished the series. But you remember when the guy who's dressed in green takes off his bandages and a bunch of weights fall to the floor?
Yes, yeah.
I feel like we're putting on the weights right now, and every part of me doubts that Red are going to come back. And at the same time, every part of me knows that this game is so far from over. If this were Red versus Furia, and this were happening, and Fury were picking up these kills, Red's game is done. I'm almost 100% certain of it. But watching the way that this has gone historically, knowing what Red can do, even from losing positions, I can't be comfortable, even though they've basically just given up 3 kills for free.
And I have to say, Dia, I feel like Kabum have done this solely to mess up my confidence predictions on Twitter. There is no other reason. There can't be. They've just been holding the weights on until I put 5 points against them, and now they're going to take my 5 points. But, yeah, really cool, guys. Appreciate that. And Lonely is literally proxying Waves top lane.
Nothing you can really do against this Renekton. Unfortunately,
Like,
not
what?
a whole lot that he can take, as Aegis does manage to pop away the Wolfcamp super quick. We've got to dive onto Envy as this game continues to surprise Flash instantly out of the Jace as Kabum continue to pressure the mid lane tower. I will say, this one probably going down pretty darn soon, but Rift Herald in the hands of Red, and now perhaps a little bit of mid lane pressure as well, as it's just enough to push Lonely back into the top side as the dragon spawns in under 30 seconds, and we've got another objective to look at.
I love the aggression, Dia. I think it's so important to force your advantages when you're on such a low point.
Oh, we're going.
Ooh, we are going in. We're diving. Frosty.
We're not
Taking some
diving.
damage. It's taking a little bit of damage. Flawless has the ultimate up, but there is ways out of that ultimate for both Frosty and Titan.
Red are knowingly giving up a second dragon for these tower plates. Lonely should be able to clear the wave, not actually giving up the tower itself just
He gets a fight, too.
Not got Dominus just yet. FNB gonna head for the hills, popping the ghost, but like we said, 2 dragons now given up knowingly for Red as an investment into FNB. This 3rd dragon, they better fight for.
I would have to imagine. You can't just let Kabum stack objectives around the bottom side of the map. That's not how you win a game of League of Legends at 13-12. You got to play for the dragons. You got to play for bot side. Graciel's caught out. He's got the arcane shift, going to keep him safe.
Does dodge the root collar though, what otherwise would have been a deadly gap closer. This mid lane tower ceremonially alive, but in no real fashion will this provide safety to Red, and Envy's had been struggling enough as it is. He actually genuinely might die if he overstays this. The man takes 1, maybe 1.5 rotations to spells from Crastiel and is gonna have to recall again. This tower's going down.
Yeah, the tower's absolutely going down, Dia, and that stack shift, pretty strong. Turns out it's a good pick for Crastiel, and he went for the auto and he didn't get it.
There we go. There we
Hey,
go.
nice.
That's
very
the
nice.
real pay.
Yeah, there's the real pay. That's a long O. I'm glad we didn't do that O here on the broadcast, but they'll keep things up for us there in the crowd. Look at the CS numbers for Crastiel, man. 30 CS. I actually would have asked you to leave the call if you had told me this was going to happen going into this game. The Crastiel would be up 30 CS, or 20 CS, I guess. Math is hard. Over Envy at this point in the game. There's just no way.
And it's into, as you said, the Jace as well, who has struggled to have an impact during these games of CBLOL. Picked up again. We doubted it. It's behind. It's a very difficult situation. And remember, the Kabum are going to scale just fine as well. I'd expressed some doubts about the Ezreal, about the Renekton, but the thing we didn't express doubts about is Raven on Aphelios, who has been silent and I'm sure deadly during this game.
Certainly seems that way anyway, right? He's got 1 item. to maintaining summoner spells as well, effectively retaining those, which has been nice for themselves too. They don't have any, they haven't lost any turret plating, I don't believe, down bot side yet either. So playing very strong. Lonely going to soak up a bunch of those platings before the 14-minute mark here. And yeah, a hugely accelerated Kabum. If they're going to win a game in the CBLOL, I don't want to say, I mean, it's into Red though, right? Like Red have to come back, right? But just the game state, you look at the game state, this seems unlosable. 4K at 14 minutes, this is massive.
And against any other team, I genuinely, I think I'd be saying the same thing. Red have just been so difficult to stop for even top-tier teams in the CBLOL due to their individual talent. With a Kai'Sa, I will say, job's a little bit harder. Titan has to commit a lot further to get things done than he has had to on things like Xayah, say, just last week. So, it is going to be the beacon of hope for Kabum. They can isolate Kai'Sa, keep Titan from having an impact. This game should be as easy as it is on paper.
I would have to agree with you there. Red has only lost one other game in the CBLOL so far. It was to Fluxu. Fluxu is a good team. Is Kabum a good team?
Frosty goes for the engage. Now, unfortunately, Riptail does fall, but Kai'Sa picks up a kill. Flawless goes down, and Red,
that's a good flash.
in what I hesitate to call a miraculous series of events, because they definitely set it up ahead of the time, placed their first foothold in the game back against Kabum.
Yeah, they get a little bit of traction there. Right now, it's just a 3.5K lead. I keep talking about this gold lead, but the fact Kabum has it at all is incredible, right? Yeah, going back to that play, Lonely, pretty solid flash, a thick flash. Envy maybe caught out here.
Nice bump back.
Crastiel's got this. He's got this, man.
Came through. Envy
Ooh.
is forced to flash, however. It's a good thing, too, because he's got to stay alive for this next dragon. The dragon that we said Red had to fight for, and the Kabum are not in position to take.
It's a big ult there from Crastiel. Push the way back down to get the structures taken off of the board, but yeah, serious kill pressure coming out of Crastiel now, and the skill shots are connecting on key targets, too. That's a very key point for Ezreal here. That damage is not going to waste. He is not missing those skill shots. We have purple and blue guns on Raven here, seeding a fight.
Ultimate cooldown's going to have to be here for Titan as well. Doesn't have the killer instinct back up just yet, but it was critical in the last engagement. Rift Herald will get you some much needed pressure as Red were able to secure that objective, and now might be able to turn it into another. We do get the crash as well. So a little bit more damage on the Kabum mid lane tower, but this dragon not burning down in time. Kabum will be able to engage. Frosty's waiting on the flank. He's going to have to commit into the pit. Redbert and Crastiel forming a big, dangerous zone. Let's see what sort of work Crastiel's able to do. As of yet, no damage, and everybody playing chicken around this dragon.
Maned Wolves, the Orange Ninjas, comes out on top. It's gonna be the fight.
Waiting for the flag dragon bop. Lonely now on the flank. Dragon at 3K. Frosty goes on a solo engage, with Aegis now backing him up, and a little bit of extra shielding from this Ivern. It's a lot of work that's been put in, but Frosty manages to survive for so long that Red secure the objective, losing only their support. Titan is almost able to clap back, still has not committed the killer instinct, and Red are keen to seek the disengage, commit back onto Redbird on a quick overextension, claim another kill, and this is why we couldn't count them out, Axeman. This is why you can never say that Red are out of the game.
Absolutely not, Dia. This third dragon goes down to Red. They break up the dragons and break up the huge push in the early game from Kabum. Suddenly, that damage isn't connecting quite as well from Crastiel. Suddenly, Raven isn't able to get that damage to where it needs to go. The team fights are going the way of Red, even as the early game went to Kabum.
I do not think Crastiel wins this 1v1. I'm okay to see him try.
No shot. I win these 100% of the time. On the
This
Olaf?
is a good handshake.
Yeah, this is a good Olaf here. That he definitely wins. So yeah, nice little backs coming through. That wave gonna be crashing in the center of the bottom lane. But yeah, still not out of it yet. Kabum still thoroughly in the lead. It's just those team fights are a little worrying for them.
Very, very worrying. So how quickly it all fell apart in the face of Red. And when I said solo engage for Frosty, I really did mean it. I hope we get a replay of that fight because that was another disjointed engagement from Red, but they just are managing to make this work. They bait out the mistakes from Kabum and individually Red punish.
They certainly did. Flawless is kind of a weird engage there as well. J4, the ult came out, and then he flag and dragged out of the fight, which was interesting. Didn't seem like there was a lot of follow-up with the damage side onto that ability as well. You really need things lined up for the J4 Ezreal combination, right? Need those corridors, need tight spaces. Big, wide open spaces don't really benefit you as much.
Raven calling for help, I am sure. You do not want to hold or even attempt to hold into 3 people when an Ivern and Rel are underneath your tower. The likelihood that you survive as an AD carry, yeah, it's pretty darn low.
Yeah, you get held in place, you get locked down. Redbird's here to defend now, though. And he will do that effectively. The Braum has looked fairly good. Wasn't high on it going into this, but you know, credit where it's due. This is an experienced player, and he knows what his team needs. Red and white guns now for Raven, nothing to play for. Unless they're playing for Baron. I mean,
I hope not. I do not do that. That is where this game goes wrong, I assure you.
There's just no need, right? No need to coin flip the game over Baron when you have a nice little lead. I think you just try to establish control. Yeah, send that ult up the mid lane. Try to push those waves back, and you're fine. You're doing okay.
Titan just keeps landing. The Kaisa W as well.
Certainly does.
I mean, it's not a lot of pressure now. It's not a lot of damage at the moment with only 2 items on Kaisa, but that's going to hurt a lot more, and Redbird's not going to be able to tank those forever, let alone people like Raven and Crestiel.
Yeah, he just reset for Sork shoes. It was kind of like almost as you were saying it. It was like, oh yeah, those are gonna hurt now. Yeah, okay. So we gotta back up off him a little bit there. Dagger in the inventory for Titan as well. Still continuing to build more attack speed, and which I can't remember which one attack speed corresponds to, but a better analyst could. Titan's in the mid lane.
It's the E.
And the E? Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say.
That one. You saw where she just went invisible?
Yes, that's the one, supercharged. So that one is definitely online now with that amount of attack speed. And the wave clear is pretty good too. I want one of these W's to hit so we can see what it actually does. Because it was hurting a little bit on the Braum, but on a Craftiel, I think it might hurt a little bit more.
Expect that to be the case, or at least for the next couple of minutes. Fortunately, I think we'll get to find out because Infernal's spawning soon, and much like before, Red do not want to give this up. Unfortunately, they don't have the position that they had in the previous game, so they'll need to take a much more aggressive stance to securing this dragon, one that likely starts with a pick unless they want to try and trade it for Baron, which is how Red's positioning right now. Whether it's true or not, they're playing a game of chicken with Kabum.
Certainly are here. Ooh, Craftiel, Arcane shifting forward. Love the confidence, love the aggression from Kabum this game. It's very fun to watch this team play so confidently.
Like, well, you went 0-3 against us in the early game. You want to try that coin flip again? You want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to see how this gold looks in the hands of a professional, say Kabum? However, I am still very much in doubt about. Ooh. Oh my God! Titan has to flash away. That was so close. A big redemption comes through, resetting the remainder of Red. As Grastiel committed the teleport to join his team, and Envy on the other side has kept on pushing. This stalemate around the dragon, around the mid lane, is benefiting Red.
Certainly is here. Raven going to start up this dragon solo as both teams he's going to leave it actually. Both teams start up the Baron. Yeah, start to fight over the top side of the map. I would love to see Kabum secure this dragon and just give up that Baron, but this is the team that's on top. They're supposed to be able to control which objectives go down where, so you don't have to give up Baron. You actually get to decide, and now it's Crasiel. It's going to start up this dragon, try to force Red to think about what they're losing.
I mean, just fully on vision as well. Red are so relaxed about their approach to this game, even after they fell earlier on, even after they give up 3 kills for nothing. Red are still playing with utmost confidence, and they're doing so as we approach this next dragon fight.
Come on, Flawless.
Are they actually even going to commit to it? They're
Come
going
on.
top side again. This dragon is gone. It's
gone.
given to Kabum.
Nice! That's Dragon Soul point just like that. No pressure on the Baron for Red. Total win for Kabum. They're able to walk all the way back up, and Red will have to fight them here. The Ezreal comes out from Crash Sales a little bit hopeful, but that is just okay. Flawless, he's got the abilities up. He's got Flash. He's extremely dangerous. Redbird with the ult back up as well. Huge playmaking from these guys. I have nothing but belief in them.
24, almost 25 minutes into the game. Items are continuing to roll through. Raven is going to be a threat. You can understand why Red are still hesitant to fight Kabum, and giving up the dragon is absolutely an understandable call, perhaps even the best one in this scenario, but it can't feel good for Red to now know that you were just one dragon away from giving up soul and the tentative hold that you've had on this game. Despite how relaxed they're playing, they're going to try and strike back now, starting up the Baron. And Flawless is here.
Flawless is here. He's got the ability to get over the wall. He's got the smite to steal. And Red will be forced off the objective and forced back to the table, a place they have not had to go since they lost to Fluxu.
I can't believe that we're, as I said, 25 minutes into the game as well, and Envy has basically equalized with Crastiel. The man was losing lane so hard on Jace, but he spent about 4 eternities in the side lane, and we're right back to essentially even. He's at two and a half, 3 items right now.
Something like that.
Crastiel, exactly the same. Let's find out on even items whether Jace or Ezreal feel better.
Yeah, with Envy on Jace right now, it's almost like being a big, heavy warship, right? You got big guns that can shoot things out of the sky, shoot submarines out of the water, anything a warship can do. Not a big Navy guy, but he's so slow, right? He doesn't have the boots, and he is easily picked off if he's out and alone. I don't know if that's true of warships. Once again, this is maybe not a great analogy, but yeah, it could be. It could be. You're out there alone on the ocean, right? But if he is picked, that's the biggest weakness right now. Titan's in.
Call to try and isolate Crastiel, but Titan wasn't able to finish the kill. Now has no gap closers left onto Crastiel. Instead, he gets shut down himself. A numbers advantage manifests itself for Kabum, but somehow you just can't kill FNB through the Ivern healing, through the redemption, through the storm of Red. They managed to take yet another fight, and now turn on to the Baron Sans AD carry.
Oh man, Red are able to win these team fights, aren't they? Lost Titan, but they'll get everything else that they could have hoped for. Lonely, Raven, Redbird, everybody is dead on the side of Kabum. Crastiel, he's going to teleport back in. Didn't even see he had teleport. He's here now. He's contending. Flawless has smite. He has a way over the wall, Dia.
Supportable combat on the other side as well, with Frosty just being the one person to hold off this J4. And he goes aggressive on Crastiel, and he kills him after the lane from hell. Flawless commits into the pit, cannot pick up the Baron, and Red get away with everything and more, picking up 2 additional kills and the Baron. This game is right back in their hands.
Just like a handful of sand, Dia, it slipped through their fingers. It was so close, but now Red are back in the driver's seat. They've taken over. They've taken the gold lead. It's their power play, and it's their time to win the game. Titan gets picked off, but at what cost?
It's just FNB. It's simply FNB. I'm just looking at this fight, replay as it replays, and just wondering how you kill this Olaf. We put so much stake into Titan, rightly, on Kai'Sa, who has been the carry of Red. But this Olaf has been so quiet during the course of these 28 minutes that at this point, I think Kabum have to be asking themselves the same question. In an engagement like that, can we actually physically kill FNB?
I don't know. I think the answer to that question likely depends on how many skill shots we're able to land and onto which targets, right? I mean, we saw Envy survive that entire fight to the point he was able to 1v1 Crastiel. That should never happen. Envy should be the focus of all damage all the time, with Titan as a secondary focus, right? This Jace is so dangerous and only got to this point because we haven't been bullying Jace effectively, and that is what Kabum needs to do to get forward in this game. I think FMV sprinting towards your carries. You have to find a way to deal with that, but it comes secondary to killing Envy.
It's so tough because, like, I mean, you draft Braum, you draft J4 and Renekton to be this big front line, but it's realistically only J4 that can actually keep Olaf in place, and that's only with a really well-placed ult that isn't used for anything else. Dragon gonna go down this time to Red at the 30-minute mark. Somehow Red have taken control of this game. They have a Baron. They are so close to Soul Point that it will surely be theirs in the next 5 minutes, and the shoe is firmly on the other foot.
It has to be. It just has to be on the other foot, and I don't know. I don't know if Kabum can make the comeback. They would have to show us somehow impossibly more effort, even than they've shown us today. And they've already put it in a Herculean effort so far. How Raven used that W. There's nothing to fight with. He's got red-white guns, but there's nothing left to fight with, unfortunately. They have to give up this turret. They might have to get up the inhib as well, Dia.
Titan doesn't have access to commit just yet. He's going to have to wait for some plasma stacks from his friends. And keeps pushing out the mid lane as well. The base may very well be cracked in the duration of this Baron buff, but as I say it, we're going to get some quick resets from Red, having decided that it's all over. And honestly, fair enough, because it is, in fact, going to have to wait for the next Baron in about 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
Just a little bit of time until those objectives come through. It's the jungle camps and the minions that will be the victims of the next few minutes or so, as both teams try to soak up as much gold from the map as they can. And Red, being the better team, will be just a little bit better than than Kabum will be. Of course, they also have the Baron empowered buff as well, so we're seeing those waves in. It's a little bit easier for them now. Ezreal ult's good wave clear. Also, the static shiv on Crastiel 2 is going to help him out through the next 3 minutes.
I know that nobody should realistically build it, but my brain is just going to itemization right now. We're looking at things like Grievous Wounds as being really effective against Olaf in the past, especially now that he's got healing and shielding from Aegis, and I just wish there was somebody on Kabum who it wouldn't be trolling to build a Serpent's Fang on, because right now you need some way to break through the insane amount that Aegis is able to do. Yeah, we're calling FNB's name. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to be giving a lot of credit to Envy and Titan as well, even Frosty. During the course of these next couple minutes of gameplay, the teams try and figure out who's going to come out on top, but this is all coming back squarely on Aegis' shoulders, because if anybody on Red is immortal, that's because Aegis deemed it fit to make them so.
Certainly, yeah, the shields are incredible, and really building into that threat that FMB has become, certainly. They're fighting over the jungle position now, fighting over some vision.
Titan still doesn't do a whole lot of damage, unfortunately. It's all about the W at this point. He just doesn't have any. But Frosty,
Frosty's just gone!
Well, that's what AP Ezreal Canids should be doing. He did it.
Yeah, Jace is firing right back, though, as is Titan. Redbird blocking a lot of that artillery coming through. This Braum has been so valuable in blocking those big skill shots. The shock blasts have not been nearly as effective as they would have. So really well done for him there, and yeah, they just absolutely delete Frosty. I cannot believe that. I mean, it's Death Cap is the next item for Crastiel. Maybe it's just a waiting game for Kabum. Maybe there's another spike coming through here where both Raven and Crastiel are able to carry this team to victory.
FNB definitely debating what his fate would be up against the Ezreal. He's going to choose to just clear waves back and forth, and Frosty's death has already righted itself. The respawn timer came through, and it was exactly as Red, I think, imagined it would be. totally fine. Didn't have a whole lot to worry about missing their support during this period. However, now, with a minute left on Dragon and Baron up, now deaths really count. And Kabum will have had to make use of that time that you illustrated, where they spent gathering gold, preparing for this next fight, to take down some of the members of Red before the fight really has a chance to happen around the objectives.
They'll fight over the Baron next. Watch out for Flawless with the flag and drag. No ultimate available for Crastiel as he puts that on cooldown going into this play. Very dangerous, these skill shots. You're going to watch, yes, a big shock blast, the W's from the Kai'Sa, and of course, the damage coming out of Crastiel.
You don't want Titan to be isolated on the side, though, right now. Not with the rest of the team just yet. Instead, he's in mid lane, poking at Raven from behind.
Titan on the flag.
What a mind game to be playing right now is Titan. You know he could Killer Instinct, and for that very reason, Kabum have to back off. There's too much threat of Kai'Sa just jumping in and assassinating two of your carries, and they have to give up the Baron.
And the full Baron goes down just to these Kai'Sa W's. Kai'Sa is so back, baby. It's back like Jazz. Is Jazz back? Jazz is back, right? Jazz is ambiguously back. Dragon going down for Red. It'll still be their third Infernal Dragon. And if you thought it was over for Kabum, it's definitely over now.
We say again, with bated breath, waiting for the actual fight that will decide their fate. But that was such a weird engagement that honestly it says a lot about the strength of Kai'Sa and of Titan as an AD carry, because make no mistake, though the fight didn't really happen, it's because Titan had already won Red the fight.
He certainly had. The damage coming out is just incredible. Flawless trying to desperately build some tank items so he can survive these engages, but easier said than done there. A little teleport coming through. And Envy will join the rest of the squad. Nice ult there for Ezreal. That's been the missing piece for Crastiel for a while now.
Ooh. Attempted engage from Redbird. Goes a little sideways. Two big ults now on cooldown.
Watch the
As we said,
Kai'Sa.
right before the Baron fight. First bit of damage from Titan is going to be blocked out by Redbird, but expect these Void Seekers to continue firing through. There's no reason for them to stop, and evidently, Kabum's answer to that is to try and kill FNB. Ghost out of the top laner. Let's see if he survives, because right now I don't see anybody catching Olaf.
He gets out of there easily just with the Ghost. Doesn't have to burn Flash. He will use the ultimate though to get out of that situation. Watch Crastiel's W's. Oh my goodness. If it connects, it's a 4-second cooldown, so you can slam those through over and over as long as they are connecting.
Slowly waves cleared out. Red, I will say, struggling a bit to actually synchronize these wave crashes to make it effective. Titan gets chunked to half HP. Flawless commits onto it. And Titan's just like, please leave me alone, man. I know I messed up.
I give up. I give up.
And yet, for the rest of Red, it's fine. They keep pushing. And everybody is going to get the chance to reset. FNB does have the ult back. He's going to try and 1v3 against Lonely, get exhausted, go into Zanya's. Who knows what's happening? Red certainly don't at this point.
Whoa! He killed Lonely.
That was pretty wild.
That was wild. Crastiel almost got killed there too, so that was weird. Envy dealing a bunch of damage to the Ezreal, and Crastiel will be able to escape there. Well, the W's are connecting again here. That's a very visual effect that has my full attention, but it's the inhib turrets you should be watching.
Every time Crastiel throws out a true shot barrage, though, you clench just a little bit. It's not going to kill anybody, but it will put Red on the back foot. Aegis, importantly, having to flash away as another Void Seeker connects from Titan.
Onto Raven.
This just isn't working for Red right now. I mean, they're doing fine. They're putting some damage onto the inhibitor towers, but they had a full Baron with no other towers to work through, and they got nothing. Kabum played excellently on the defense.
It's so wild the Titan can one-shot a wave with that item, man. Oh my goodness. That's so game-breaking. Like he's killing parts of the wave that are still under turret. just by hitting the first one. It's just awful, man. So bad. But hey, we're in the late game now, so Champs could do cool stuff like that. It's honestly more illegal that he could do it in the middle of the game. But we're almost at 40 minutes. Makes a little bit more sense now. Those objectives are starting to rear their ugly heads once again. I can say ugly. Dragon and Baron, they're not the most aesthetic beings.
Not known for their like stunning good looks.
Yeah, they're not looks. Yeah, they're not lookers, right? So we'll say ugly heads. 1 minute and 140 seconds until those objectives come back up. Should be the fight over this dragon, as it will mean soul for either party.
I mean, that's all the game is about at this point. Like you said, champions are just becoming so ludicrously powerful that the only thing that can really end the game is a buff designed to do exactly that, with both the Infernal Soul becoming available and Baron that we've already seen is struggling to end games. Infernal Soul is going to be the priority. Kabum, know it. But again, we've got Titan right behind them.
Yeah, you see these W's connecting from the front and the Q's from Jace connecting in the back here. And it's just not tenable for Kabum. They're going to have to back out, either play for the Baron or just leave entirely. I don't know.
Titan's just going to keep harassing from the mid wave. Like you said, his wave... Oh my... That's... Okay. Well, he should have gotten Redbird there. I was ready. My breath held. My voice stopped. But Redbird is alive. The dragon, unfortunately, will not be. And that's the real lesson we walk away from this with, is yet another fight is won without any blood spilled. Titan, if anything, I have to say, probably a pacifist.
A little bit of a pacifism coming through. And that's just fine with me. Teleport up for Crastiel. We'll be able to join the fight.
That's soul.
That's soul for him. Yeah, I just don't say. I don't see a way out for Kabum. We're back to square zero, I think, for Kabum.
Killer instinct gonna be
Look at that
soon.
damage, man.
Let's see if he can continue connecting these
They
W's.
got
He
it
can.
again, man.
One more actually kills Flawless. If he can find him, oh! The plasma
He's still got
expired
more in the
just in the
tank.
nick of time, but with the jungler unable to approach.
He's got it!
Good God, the humanity! Red again. Can I remind you, we're losing this game for the first 15 minutes, and now look at them! FNB is just running through the entire Kabum roster. It's not even close, Axeman. Red don't even have the decency to give Kabum a real fight.
No fight to be had there. It's just a total shutout at the Baron. And that will be the end of the game. Titan will be able to close it out here with MB teleporting in. The result we expected, but not the game we expected. DL, I'm honestly disappointed. I feel like Kabum fans, I don't know. That's the best game against Red you're going to hope for, I think.
And this is a better game against Red than most top teams in the league will have against Red. The early game was